Glenn Clark Radio, talking about the sports you do and don't know, both within and surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no, stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio, Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
With the 14th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Olaivavega Ioane, guard, Penn State.
For me, it's hard to not see things for how they are. I've seen a lot of mock drafts, things like that, of me coming there. I've definitely pictured myself blocking for, all those people over there, great players. But, for me, when I get there, I'm bringing, my pass protection. That's something I work on every day. Same thing for the run game. In the pass game, I'm coming in with, the mentality that I'm not trying to get beat. Nobody's going to touch my quarterback, and as simple as that. In the run game, same mindset of being a mauler. I'm trying to open up lanes for our running back, protect the running back in that case, and, just play ball.
There we go. That's new Baltimore Raven, Vega Ioane.
Say the whole thing?
What?
You got the whole thing? I thought you were.
That's what he goes by. He goes by Vega. So
Olaivavega.
we're gonna call him what he gets to choose his name, my friend. That's the way that this works.
Well, he's listed as.
No, he wants to go by Vega, so his name is Vega. You don't get to pick somebody's name.
I know, but that's
the way it works.
Forever been listed as.
No, what does he go by?
He goes by Olaivavega.
No,
I thought
he goes by Vega. That's what he goes by.
Where did he say that? He said that yesterday.
Yeah, he's told everybody that's
Okay.
what not necessarily yesterday. He goes by Vega. That's his name. And if he chooses that, then that's what we choose. And at some point he decides that he wants to go by a different name, then we'll call
Glenn,
him that
maybe.
name.
Yeah.
I mean, if he would prefer, that's the way that it works. Yeah. Look, I mean, this was always gonna be the. It's so funny. I talked about it. My friends in the desert. My friends in the betting world who kept trying to tell me, hey, is there anything here? And I'm like, no, there's nothing there. The line is correct. Like, I did think it was interesting last night when Ruben Bain was sitting there, if perhaps that was the type of thing that would make them come off the plan. But that's a different conversation and one that we can have for funsies. I had it last night. What would I have done, Glenn Clark? I would have taken Ruben Bain. That's what I would have done. But there's also a reason why I'm sitting here like a dummy in front of a microphone and not running an organization. I am just so enamored with the upside of Ruben Bain that I think you might be looking at a 10-year high-level football player. And they would say, yeah, we got one of those. And I get it. And the literal only knock that you could possibly have, because there's nothing about Vega Ioane that you could knock as a player. It is about as clean as it possibly gets.
It's just the position, I guess, right?
It's just that he's a guard. And considering we've been focused on Vega Ioane for months in this process, it's the same conversation I continued to have every time we bring it up. There's no negative about the player. The only negative is you're taking a guard when you have the 14th pick. That's it. And is that a luxury that you can have with the 14th pick? And that's a complicated conversation, too. Because if the best player is a guard, you don't suddenly say, well, we're going to take the guy who's the 20th best player just because that player is a wide receiver. I don't think. I mean, maybe you do. And then there's a finer line. When they made their board, how much did need influence the board? And wherever Vega Ioane was on their board and wherever Ruben Bain might have been, was Vega Ioane higher on the board because interior offensive line was a bigger need to them than edge rush was, since they already went out and got Trey Hendrickson? And these are all questions that they won't answer and we'll never know the answers to. And it doesn't change. As I said last night, in that moment, I would have picked Ruben Bain. That's what I would have done. But it doesn't make Vega Ioane a bad pick or the wrong pick. It does mean that you need him to be a superstar. That even if he were to have the career of, say, Ben Grubbs, who was a really good football player, and the last time the Ravens drafted a guard in the offensive line, or in the first round, which you got to go all the way back to 2007 in order to find that. If he's Ben Grubbs, I don't know if it was worth the 14th overall pick. I don't know. Ben Grubbs ended up being a Pro Bowler in his final season in Baltimore, and I think he made one more after he left Baltimore. He was a good player. He was very reliable for a long time. But my gut tells me you can find reliable guards in a lot of places in the draft. When you draft Vega Ioane at that spot, you need to find a Marshall Yanda type of player. Which, of course, we would bring up and say, well, they found that guy in the third round. I think that Vega Ioane has a chance to become that type of player. Everybody shared that, like, he didn't allow a sack. He didn't even allow a hurry. He's a grader. There's very little that you look at in his tape and you don't find yourself saying, well, yeah, that guy's a beast. But he's not a tackle. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's some world where down the road, if you were in a pinch, you could throw him over there and see what happens. He's not. He's a guard. That's what you drafted. And you needed a guard. I mean, you did. I mean, they could say that, hey, we trusted Andrew Voorhees and Emory Jones, and we would have been okay, but it's an awful lot of risk for a team that was trying to win a Super Bowl, and it did not pay off for them a year ago. And it gives them more flexibility now that Emory Jones can be their third tackle, which is something that they were missing. They have depth that they didn't previously have. Those are good things. Still, he's got to be a stud, man. He has got to be a rock star. And he might be. He might very well be. Coming up, we're going to talk to a couple of folks about the newest Baltimore Raven. Michael Pierce, former Raven, now BlackWing Playbook podcast. He'll check in, give us his thoughts about the Ravens selection of Vega Ioane. We'll also check in with a former Penn State and Ravens offensive lineman, AQ Shipley, part of the Pat McAfee show. He is very high on Ioane. He does the film breakdowns. What does he call his segment that he does?
In the trenches, I believe?
Yeah, that's right.
In the trenches.
So we'll talk to him about what it is.
We'll go in the trenches with AQ Shipley.
Right, exactly right. And my guess is they'll all be very high on it because there's nothing to really be down on. There's just not. It's for content purposes, it's kind of a bummer when the team takes a guard, right? Because there's just only so much there is to say. Like they did a conference call and they did a press conference last night, and you could already tell there just weren't that many questions. They're going to do another press conference today. I can't imagine. Like you said, you got to go over that. I don't know.
Somebody already asked, but how excited are you to block for Lamar Jackson?
Great.
How about Derrick Henry?
Yeah, if we say it a fifth different way, maybe you'll get a different answer.
How excited are you to play for Dwayne Ledford? Huh?
Yeah, there you go. I mean, and it doesn't mean that I'm opposed to it. There's a reason why you do these press conferences. I just can't imagine what more there is to say. He's a guard. That's what there is. He's a guard.
And it was it was an offensive line heavy draft, and it seems like they got a great one, I guess. I'm gonna wear my purple glasses.
They probably
obviously.
got the best true guard in the draft.
Right.
I mean, they probably did do that, but and part of what you're saying when you say it was an offensive line heavy draft, it was still Rutledge. How many other guards went?
Just Rutledge.
Yeah.
I think was the only one that went last night.
It was an offensive line heavy draft, but it was predominantly tackles. I mean, guys that maybe end up playing guard at some point, but not guys that come in as guards. And that's the only thing. I can't knock Ioane in any way. And I'm not even really knocking the decision because Lord knows I have no clue how this is going to play out. What I know beyond a shadow of a doubt is that the Ravens addressed their single biggest need that they had. What I also know is that they did it at a position that is not considered a particularly significant position on the field. And you're torn because there are varying opinions. We all watched what happened a year ago. The offensive line stunk.
And I guess that's where I defend it because I was the same way. I was like, oh my god, the perfect scenario. Like Ruben Bain just fell to 14. Like it's unbelievable. But I guess deep down I kind of knew. Oh man, Venga's right there as well. So the thing we complained about every single Monday morning coming in here was, oh my god, did you see how bad the guards were
absolutely.
yesterday? Like it was. So I mean, yeah, I cannot. It's the most unoffensive pick I guess they could make. Like they were in a good spot. They were in a good spot where they had Bain and Ioane both right there, and Sadiq even. I guess I just can't knock it. I really watching Ruben Bain. Watching all his highlights run right after when the Bucks took him. I was like, oh man, I do really like Bain. Yeah,
he's a stud.
Hopefully this guy is more fully on.
I had a message last night from someone who works in personnel in the NFL, who said that they believed that this was a reflection of the Ravens prioritizing the now. That their gut, because I just said back, was it the right call to take Ioane over Bain? And this is someone whose opinion I respect, but certainly he suggests that any one person is the individual arbiter of this conversation. What he said back was, maybe, which is
nice,
about right. I mean, like to be fair, they were back-to-back picks, right? Like it's not as if there's some notable separation between these two players. But what he said was, it really seems to me to be a reflection of the now. That they fired John Harbaugh. They were going to try to trade for Max Crosby. They spent a lot of money on Trey Hendrickson. That they're looking at their roster and saying, what do we have to solve now? And while maybe Bain could be really good for 10 years, they believe they've got their closer in Trey Hendrickson. They think they've got that guy. And they could obviously say that they think that Mike Green's ready to take another step forward with Jesse Minter. That they believe they have that part of the field solved. But this was the part of the field they didn't have solved. And if you're trying to win right now, then you needed to maybe lean a little bit more towards need than perhaps towards the hell with need, just take the best football player you can get. Which doesn't mean Ioane won't also be that. This is the difficulty about doing shows like this, is I want to be that talking head who's like, this is crazy. This is not. I can't believe the Ravens. But it's not that. It's not. I was enamored with Ruben Bain. I'm also really excited about Vega Ioane. But one's an edge rusher and one's a guard. So, like, if you were building a team, in that mythical scenario, right? Like, you're building a team. What are you doing first? Well, then, if you like them both, you're taking Ruben Bain. Maybe everybody else is right that Ruben Bain's arms are too small. Maybe he won't translate to the NFL. My buddy Keith Mills last night was making the argument of, like, look at what the Ravens have tried doing at edge rusher. There's a couple of guys that are truly different, and everybody else is about the same. You can get somebody in the fourth round. They used early picks on Odafe Owe and David Ajabo with very little to show for them. Okay. I mean, like, okay. I think Ruben Bain is closer to that top group than he is the next group. For example, I wouldn't have been interested in Cassius Howe. Clearly, no one else would have. I mean, somebody will be tonight. Maybe if he falls to the Ravens at 45, then I do become it. But I would not have been interested in Cassius Howell at 14 or Caldrick Falk at 14. They just did not interest me with that pick.
Mesidor?
He's really productive. Like, you can't ignore that. But I still don't think I would have done it at 14.
No.
Bain just looks explosive to me. So, dumb guy, my opinion was, if that guy's there at 14, I want him. And if the choice is between him and a guard, I don't care if it's the best guard. I want that guy. But that doesn't mean the Ravens made a bad pick. And, you know, you could throw Sadiq into the conversation if you want. And if Kenyon Sadiq becomes Antonio Gates, then we'll think about that too.
At the Jets?
Probably not a place where he's likely to become Antonio Gates. I get it, but to be fair, like, Brock Bowers has been insanely good without having a quarterback, and Trey McBride has been insanely good without having a quarterback. So, I don't know. Maybe Kenyon Sadiq will join that list. But it might also be that the Ravens look at tight end and say, well, you know, it's still rare that tight ends come in immediately and are...
Well, Trey McBride started looking really good once he got a real quarterback like Jacoby Brissett. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's when it happened?
That's when he came alive.
Okay. Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah, taking a running back when you don't have a quarterback. Good job, Arizona. That was...
I mean, who did you want them to take with the third pick?
Trade back or, I don't know, I guess Orville Reese.
Did you notice anybody wanting to trade up?
Well, yeah, the Kansas City did.
Yeah, they wanted to trade up specifically to get ahead of Washington. That's what they wanted to do. They didn't want to pay to move up to 3. I mean, like, by all means, I think if the Cardinals did it, I assume they screwed it up. But the notion that, like, they have way too many holes. Everybody's like, well, they already have James Conner and Tyler Algier. Right, so what then? They have the most mid to bottom level running back room in the NFL?
I would have taken...
You're just naming the players that are on... Everybody's got... Like, that would be like me saying, well, the Ravens don't need to take a guard. They've got Emory Jones. Like, what are we doing pretending like James Conner...
Yeah, but Jeremiah Love's not safe. I don't know. I mean, they
he
need
might
so
be
much.
Saquon Barkley. There are lots of people that think that he might be Saquon Barkley.
I mean, even if he is, what does that get them?
They can't change the fact that they don't have a quarterback. There was no quarterback to take at 3. If there was a quarterback to take at 3, they probably should have done it. Lord, I can't believe there was a quarterback that went off the board at 13. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around
Dan Orlovsky can.
Yeah, well, neither can Sean McVay, apparently. It's a very weird bit. Now let's cut. Every time you go to the war room, you get the whole team like the moon landing just occurred, right? Now let's go to the Rams and Sean McVay. Huh? Okay. Very weird bit, man, that they're doing. I don't know. I don't know. I was okay with Ioane over Sadiq. Genuinely.
Me too.
I was okay with that choice. Bain, it was a little bit tougher. Yeah.
I don't know, do we want it or...
I don't really care that much. I really don't care.
Too late
that
now.
much
We're getting it.
Why do we do this?
This is what we do. It's an internet show.
Yeah, I'm just...
I'll keep that between us. We'll see. He's going to compete with Stetson. Yeah.
Man, that guy cannot hide
I know he can barely contain his excitement.
His disdain for the Rams. Not to be fair, I get it, right? Like this goes to, is Sean McVay thinking that he's probably done when Matt Stafford's done? Like, remember, there were rumors about him stepping away a couple of years ago. He's still a very young man, could still have... Like, he could have a John Madden-esque broadcasting career.
Follow the Gruden, right into the... I mean,
maybe not that. Maybe not that path.
Right back into the Monday Night Football booth or whatever.
Yeah, something along those lines. And if Sean McVay is already thinking about like his future being post Matt Stafford, then there's no way that he's happy about them taking Ty Simpson, because all he's thinking about is, I needed a player to try to help me win a Super Bowl this year, and you didn't do it. And frankly, I get it. I do. Ty Simpson maybe proves to be the next Matt Stafford in L.A. Maybe he does, right? But like when you're this close to winning a Super Bowl, I would always prefer to use my assets on the guys that can help me win a Super Bowl. And if they're just saying we don't believe there was a guy that was there at 13 that could help us win a Super Bowl, then that is a hell of a condemnation on that. Maybe it doesn't matter if it was Ruben Bain or Vega Ioane or Kenyon City.
Because Leslie
right?
knows that
There's just none of them. All of them stink, right? Maybe that's what it is that we learned from the Rams last night. Look, that's the pick, and it definitely fills a need, and it definitely makes the Ravens a more complete roster. I don't know that it makes them a Super Bowl favorite because they have a really good guard, but it's a more complete roster than what they had going into last night. And if they had gone with Ruben Bain early last night, then they would have had to have zeroed in on a guard tonight. This does present them options, whether it's tight end in round 2, whether it's a Cassius Howell. Does Jermon McCoy keep slipping? And all of a sudden, a cornerback that maybe they had rated in the...
Zion Young won't keep slipping, will he? He'll go.
Yeah, he's on that edge list. I mean, they have options now for what they can do with their second-round pick. Or maybe they feel like they need to. I think a lot of us keep pointing to pick 80 as where they find their center. Maybe they think they need to get ahead of a few teams, take their center at 45, and they like their options at 80. That's where they think the sweet spot is for a wide receiver or a tight end. So, they addressed. They addressed the thing they had to address. That was the biggest need, and it's been addressed. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at countysports.zone. Everything you know about high school sports here in the state of Maryland, scores, schedules, rankings, news updates, they've got you covered. Every sport, every season, every level, every part of the state. countysports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Sorry, I meant to put Kobe Mayo up on the board. I forgot to do that. That's my fault. Kobe Mayo went up on the board for Wednesday. We weren't here yesterday. He hit the home run that put it out of reach. It was weird. It's not like he had a great game, but nobody really had a great game on Wednesday. Just a bunch of different contributors in the game, and so ultimately...
Nunez didn't have a run, did he? No.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. Yeah. Could have been. I don't know, but I went with Mayo.
Yeah, well, he hit the ball 1,000 feet. So
yeah, he did. He hit a ball that I don't think has landed yet. And back-to-back days with home runs for Kobe Mayo. Hopefully a turning point as we look back on it. So, yeah, Kobe Mayo will go up on the board from yesterday. But we'll continue to talk about what the Baltimore Ravens did, what they still need to do. Joining us now, one of our all-time favorite Ravens, and you know him now as part of the BlackWing Playbook podcast. He is our buddy Michael Pierce, and he is back with us on GCR. What's going on, brother? It's Glenn. How are you?
What's going on, man? Not much, man. In the midst of a road trip, so this is a...
Where are you headed?
Nice little break. Back where I played college, up in Birmingham, Alabama.
Nice.
Little event at Sanford.
Very cool, man. Very cool. Enjoy that. I guess just quickly, what was your reaction last night? The Ravens had a lot of options on the board. Ruben Bain, everybody was excited about. Kenyon Sadiq, everybody was excited about. They went with maybe somebody would say the safer of those options. They went guard. They went Vega Ioane. What was your reaction?
I think that was perfect, quite honestly. First and foremost, I'm a Ruben Bain fan. He's going to be amazing, right? I think the thing that we fans get enamored with is those splash plays, the sacks, the TFLs, and all that stuff. The mundane things like blocking for our $250 million quarterback sometimes go unnoticed until they're not, right? And this kid, Vega, he's special, man. So Lamar has dealt with some health issues. I don't think we don't need to contribute to those by a lack of blocking. Obviously, we got Derrick Henry, and we need to move some people around in order for him to, do what he's best at. So, no, I think that was a great pick. I was ecstatic. What
again, is there anything in watching Ioane specifically that you look at and you see as a weak? Like, I keep looking at his film, and he just looks so clean in his technique. We've all seen the numbers. He hasn't allowed a sack. He hasn't even allowed a hurry. He gets downfield as a run blocker. Is there anything that, as you watch him, you're concerned about at all as he translates to the NFL?
No. I mean, you can read, those combine draft pages, and, pundits are paid to not only point out people's, strengths and obviously they paid to point out the weaknesses as well. So nobody comes into the NFL as a perfect prospect. But I think schematically for what we're going to ask him to do and organizationally, I think he's a lot bigger than Marshall Yonder was, but he kind of fits that mold of what we expect our guards to look like and play like. So I think those are the most important things, especially when you go down to team specifics, right? So, no, I think organizationally he'll fit what we need him to do. Obviously, we'll talk in a few about what we may need else in addition to him. But I think he fits exactly what we need him to do. And like I said, they probably had a few things they were concerned about with Marshall Yonder, but he ended up with a Hall of Fame jacket.
Yeah, he slipped a couple of rounds, and yet, as it turns out, might have been the greatest player that the Ravens could have possibly taken there. Michael Pierce, it's interesting, this perspective, because you played a position that someone would say is maybe a non-premium position in the NFL, right? Now, Aaron Donald would perhaps suggest otherwise, right? But there would be this argument about defensive tackles being a non-premium position. It feels like the only real knock, and it's something I've talked about, is you might have found the best guard, but to the point, they found Marshall Yonda a couple rounds later, right? Like, when you have a pick at 14, do you need to take a bigger swing for a more premium position than guard?
I would ask you this. Do the Colts regret taking Quentin Nelson?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Exactly. So I think a part of being GM, obviously I'm not a GM. I've been around only 2 or 3. Sometimes making the smart decision is not always the most popular. I don't think the Rams fans were expecting to take a quarterback, but given Matthew Stafford's age and, his back situation and all that stuff, if he happens to get hurt, they were a Super Bowl contender. They now have somebody who's, going to be their future and, a capable guy versus, the alternative, right? So, again, the thing we need fans to realize is we got a $250 million brilliant quarterback that we have to protect. So, regardless of if that's a DN or whatever the case may be, and protecting him is the most important thing that we're going to ever be able to be asked to do as an organization. So if we don't have blockers and we don't keep our quarterback upright, we're going to cut his career short. Or we're going to cut our own, window short.
Right,
him
correct.
winning MVPs and championships. You don't see too many teams winning championships with less than stellar talent or passing up on, guards who are highly, highly rated. So that's just kind of where I stand with it.
You mentioned it a second ago, Michael. What are your priorities now moving forward if you're the Baltimore Ravens? And again, they can say, hey, we're just going to do best players, but where do you think as a roster they still need to address in order to be the Super Bowl contenders that we've all wanted to see the Ravens be?
I think we can look at the center market. I don't think some people may realize of how big of a hole Linderbaum left. I know we brought in some guys in free agency, which has remained to be seen what they look like and all that stuff. So, like I said, same principle. That's definitely not going to be a popular pick, especially after we just took a guard. But I would definitely like to see potentially one more swing at it on the O-line, and then like I said, I'm always for taking D lineman as well, but I think we could definitely use maybe an extra receiver.
What you bring up about D lineman too, like I think everybody was really encouraged by the recent reporting about Nnamdi, but I think there still has to be a question asked about where is he physically if he comes back? Is he definitively ready for the start of the season? Can you put all of your eggs in the basket of, well, the reporting suggests that Nnamdi Madubuike is going to try to play after this surgery, so all's good there, or do you need to maybe still address that, thinking that there might be a little bit of a question mark?
Yeah, I mean, nothing's for certain. Just like I said, myself, I came back off an injury and then ended up tearing my bicep. You never know how things are going to play throughout the season, but just the history of neck surgeries, obviously we pray the best for Nnamdi. But at the end of the day, you're never wrong, insuring. I don't look at it as non-premium positions, but maybe some people may. But if you ask Dexter Lawrence, would he rather play against a first-round guard or somebody we found off the street that has no experience? I'm sure he probably would tell you the first option, right?
Man,
I think that also we fans don't have the privilege of seeing just how like Peoples was doing during the back end of the year. I have no knowledge of those things, right? So if they feel confident that he can help replace Beeks in a sense, as a whole, as a collective of like stats and all that stuff in his second year, maybe they don't go that route. Maybe T-Rob is progressing a little bit better and going in his contract here, and he can play some three on pass down. There's a lot of different things that we as fans just don't have that, information that EDC has. But I like I said, I wouldn't mind if we shored up that position just in case. We may need somebody else, but also, like I said, we can't go wrong with taking a receiver either.
Can I tell you, by the way, how much I'm getting a kick out of you just referring to yourself as a fan so frequently during the course of this conversation? Like, you're one year out and comfortably out.
At this point, like I said, I have not been at anybody's practice. I couldn't tell you how none of the young guys look. And like I said, obviously I want to be respectful of them and, like I said, their work that they're doing.
Oh, no doubt.
That's the only way you can really categorize yourself at this point.
I completely understand. It's just funny to me knowing you're Michael Pierce, trying to be like, just regular guys like me and you. Yeah, me and you, very similar. Mike, are you okay? At this point, if the Ravens don't go receiver tonight, then it almost seems like they're committing to their top three being, the two, obviously, and Zay and Rashad Bateman, and then Tez Walker going into the season maybe as their third receiver. Based on what you saw from him last year, would you be comfortable if that's how this ends up playing out, that to the point, maybe tonight is defensive tackle and center, and, these are who their receivers are?
So I think just because while Tez has literally scored probably a touchdown on at least, 70?
90% of his catches, something like that, yeah.
That's not a lot of volume, right? But I think that would, if they choose not to take a receiver, that speaks to how they feel about him, his skill set, and how he fits in this new system, right? And that's kind of why I was saying, as fans, we don't get to see how he's looking in all these OTAs and all this stuff that's going on right now, right? Or how they see him or how they project him, right? So I hadn't seen Ted since he was a rookie. A tremendous amount of growth can, happen between year one and year three. So I think if they choose not to, that speaks volumes on who they believe he can be. Like I said, he gives us no reason to not believe in him. I mean, but he got 6 catches and Jesus knows, maybe 4 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. I have no idea the numbers off the top of my head. But, he's been productive every chance he's got. It's just been very, sparse. So I wouldn't mind if we added somebody, but at the same time, if they don't, that means they expect really, really big things from him, which I'll be happy with as well.
Yeah, so. I think that's fair. And then, we bring up the comparison, and I admit that as a fan, I was enamored with Ruben Bain too. Is this a case of hey, they've done what they're going to do? They've got their guy. They have their stud game changer now in Trey Hendrickson, and they need to be able to rely on, Mike Green taking that jump in year 2. They can't just keep throwing major assets at something.
Do you mind repeating that one more time?
Yeah.
I'm in these country roads.
I understand, Mike. We're talking about, obviously, at the top, Ruben Bain, and I was also enamored with Ruben Bain as a fan. I think he's a hell of a football player. But is this maybe a case where, they have to say, we've done what we're going to do at edge rush? We went out and got Trey Hendrickson. That's our difference maker. We need Mike Green to take a step forward in his second year, And we've got the guys. Like, we can't just keep throwing all of our major assets at one position.
Right. No, definitely. And I think we also don't, necessarily bring to the forefront. We got Mike. We done made a big move for Trey. Like I said, the growth that T-Rob could have. We haven't seen a decent Isaac healthy enough to actually contribute, but he was a third-round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
that's about right, third-round pick. So it's time for him to produce. Like I said, just having, if Beeks is healthy and back to who he was, that's going to help the edge as well. Not only from a sack number standpoint, but a pressure rate. And, that'll definitely, he's going to command a double team, and that'll free up a lot of things as well. So, we can't be super heavy on pass rushers, especially, like I keep mentioning, we have a generational quarterback, future Hall of Famer, that needs protection, right? And I made the joke last night on our podcast. The last thing we want to do is be on Marcus Spears' tidbit on ESPN claiming we need new security.
Yep, I get it.
No, man, we can't play that. But like I said, I'm all for pass rushers. But I think the fact that he was there and that they chose to pass on him, like I said, it speaks to who they either believe we have in the room, which is Trey's proven and Mike's talent, and then, the guys around him supporting cast. But also, we've done a tremendous job. But if we actually need some help, like I like Draymond Jones' addition that we brought in late last year. So EDC always finds a way to make some kind of veteran move if it's needed. But I think he'll definitely Mike Green could definitely use some reps to be able to grow his skill, his confidence, and prove himself. So I think that should be around about what they're thinking with that.
Other than Vega, who did you think was the best pick of the night last night?
I think Dallas, and I'm not too big into the Cowboys.
Yep.
Dallas made some really good moves. Caleb Downs is special. He's special. So, and then they went and got a pass rusher on the edge as well. So, I think they did really well. I think they did really well for themselves. Kansas City kind of surprised me, but they needed a corner pretty bad. And then I'm a big fan of Peter Woods just because he's from Birmingham, Alabama. So I think he's gonna be special as well if they can get some more constant production out of him.
It does really feel un-Cowboys, right? For them to be the team that just sits back and doesn't panic and lets everybody else do what they're doing, and then they say, "Oh, that guy, yeah, we'll take him." That's a very Ravens thing to do. With that pick, and there you have it. Caleb Downs falling all the way to 11. Michael Pierce, remind everybody about the podcast.
All right, so the BlackWing Playbook is a weekly podcast on YouTube or whatever platform you tend to listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, all that stuff. About an hour and a half or so playbook talking about all things Ravens, all things NFL. And I think it's something fun and something new that I think fans will enjoy. I do slip up and occasionally use some profanity, but it's all in good-hearted nature. So just a disclaimer there. But I think it's a cool little thing. Like I said, we'll be talking Ravens football. Obviously, that's what we're here for. That's our team. We had Cordell Patterson, former he's a Ravens columnist.
Oh, Cordell Woodland. I was like, Cordell Patterson. Wait, no, I know you.
Wrong name.
Yeah, right. I know who you meant. No,
we got a good little crew, man. It's a fun time.
And you can also follow him at Coach Mike P _58. Mike, always appreciate you, brother. Thanks for hopping on with us. Enjoy your weekend back in Birmingham. All right.
All right. Appreciate
Thanks,
it, brother.
buddy.
Have a good one.
Talk to you soon. Michael Pierce with us here on GCR. There's only so many ways to keep saying it. I mean, I understand exactly the way that Michael Pierce feels. You had to prioritize it. And someone would say maybe you should have done that earlier in free agency. You didn't. One of the things I talk about all the time is you don't ever want to go into the draft with such a glaring need. Because when that happens, sometimes you end up. I think about some of the need picks that the Ravens made over the years. And Mark Clayton jumps out to me. Now, Mark Clayton, it's a complicated story, right? Like, did he live up to being a first-round pick? Probably not. But, like, if he had played with Steve McNair for his entire career, maybe he would have. I don't know. Matt Elam felt like a need pick. That doesn't mean that all the need picks.
You can't say his name during draft weekend.
I understand. I know. It's
bad juju.
Is Matt Elam or Kyle Bowler the worst first-round pick in Ravens history?
What about if they're worse than Perriman, I guess?
Yeah, they're worse than Perriman. Perriman.
Just because he had, like, a career?
Yeah, he was, like, functional, right?
I mean, Bowler could throw the ball really far.
Yeah, from his knees. I'm aware. I remember. I was there.
People wore his jersey.
You don't want to put. Yeah, that's
People
a great
did not
point. There
wear
were a
his
lot
jersey.
of. You're not wrong about that. I don't know. Is that certain? Is it possible that people wore Matt Elam's jersey?
I mean,
for a little while?
there's
I do
probably
remember finding one. Like, there was a store that used to exist in Towson Town Center, and I was there purchasing like a Christmas present. And before he was even off the team, you know, like how when somebody's off the team, they'll mark the jerseys down to like 50% off. They had done that with Matt Elam before he was off the team. He was still on the team, and they had put him on the 50% off rack. It was not great for Matt Elam.
See if I could find.
Yeah, it's. I'm not.
To go to the. You can get it in the new uniform color if you want.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna pass. I think I'm gonna pass.
They do have it on the Ravens Fanatics site.
Why?
Oh no, it's out of stock. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah. Why? Why would that possibly be the case? All right. When we come back in, we'll find out a little bit more about the Ravens' first-round pick, Vega Ioane.
People are trying to sell it, but from anywhere between $20 to $30, you can purchase a Matt Elam jersey on eBay or wherever. You know.
Sure.
If you need it,
I'm good. Do you see somebody posted a picture of? God, I can't remember who it was. Like at the team store, they had like a haul of old practice uniforms that they were selling. And somebody posted
like
a picture.
Red Flacco or something?
No, somebody posted. Well, maybe, but they posted a picture of a jersey that said the number it was number 63, and they said you'll never guess whose jersey this is, and everybody was guessing.
Terrence Cody, I don't know.
God, you got to find it. I want to say it was like Odell Beckham. Like they had practice because they would do this.
Tweeted this.
They would sometimes do this in practice, where they would flip-flop the jersey numbers. I don't know because they were filming that day or they were afraid that somebody was going to... I don't know why but they would do this where they would flip-flop jersey numbers during practices, certainly during training camp at times, and it made no sense. And then the Ravens Twitter was all over this, like, I need that jersey. I have to own that. It got a lot of buzz maybe last week. I wish I could remember. I definitely should have bookmarked it. I got a lot going on. I mentioned AQ Shipley is going to join us. We'll talk more about that and also who's starting for the Orioles tonight. We'll come back in on a special Friday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnken. If you've been injured in Maryland, you know you need a great lawyer. Look no further than us, Warnken LLC. You've seen my picture on billboards around town. You've seen me on TV. Now I'm lucky enough to get to be here with Stan. Please give us a call. 443-RESULTS. It is not just a phone number, it's a mission. 443-RESULTS. Or visit us online at warnkenlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR. Griffin found it, and I apologize because it was our buddy Banks who actually shared it from Exit 52 in Barstool. The jersey was number 62, not number 63. It was at the team store. It was in a practice jersey, the real deal practice jersey, and he tweeted out, "You'll never guess who's on the back of this jersey." And everybody made their guesses about the number 62, and as it turns out, the answer, indeed, I did have it right, was Odell Beckham Jr. Why they switched it up that day, I have no idea. But that is something that the Ravens have done, where they would just have guys wear different numbers. If I remember, at one point they didn't bother to go put a new name on the back of the jersey. They just had blank jerseys with numbers on them, and they would have guys wear different numbers. But I guess in more recent years they've switched it up so that they put the names on. That's an awful lot of work for just a practice bit.
They wore
to be
once,
doing
I
that.
guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
So did Banks buy it? I don't.
I did not get that update. Did
point.
not get to the bottom of it, but that was something that was available. All right, we continue along on a Friday edition of the program. Don't forget, every Monday, Stan the Fan Charles, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson are talking baseball with you. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan shows brought to you by the Costas Inn, with 2 great locations in Timonium, the new one, and the OG in Dundalk, as well as Warnken Law. Let's talk a little bit more about the Ravens selection at number 14 overall, taking Penn State offensive lineman Vega Ioane, someone who knows a thing or two about both offensive line play and Penn State offensive linemen. He is a former Baltimore Raven. You see him as part of the Pat McAfee Show. He is our buddy AQ Shipley, and he is back with us now here on GCR. AQ, it's Glenn. What's going on, brother? Thank you for taking the time for us.
What's up, boys? You can never go wrong taking a Penn State offensive lineman.
I figured you'd probably be fired up about this. I figured that was probably the case. But I can sense that it's not just, he went to Penn State and that's your guy. What you show or have shown everyone is what stands out. It is really difficult to watch this guy's film and come away with anything other than, wow, there are almost no holes in his game.
He's by far, in my opinion, the most NFL-ready offensive lineman in the entire draft. I think just because he was a guard, you end up slipping. Everybody's at a premium looking for tackles early and often, and then he's sitting there at 15. I mean, this was the perfect pick for the Baltimore Ravens. He is as good of a technician as I've watched of any of the college guys on tape. So he's going to be able to just plug and play, step in from day one, and be ready to rock and roll. Is
there anything at all that's a weakness to you? I've watched a lot of both pass and run blocking, and it's really hard for me to find anything, and I don't know the game as well as you do, but it's hard for me to find anything that concerns me.
I mean, no. I mean, if you're just looking at his college tape, I don't think there's a weakness, honestly. But if you're going to sit there and think that he's not going to have some issues going into the NFL is a different world.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think people, do not realize that to the fullest extent. They think guys are just going to roll in from college and they're a first-round pick and they should just be able to pick it up. It is different. The the complexity of the schemes, the complexity of the twists and stunts up front, especially with defensive linemen. They're always trying to bait you into something. Now you get this guy who's a 10-year pro playing 3 technique over you, and he sets you up for 25 plays, and then all of a sudden gets you to bait you into something, and you fall on your face. And it's like, well, what happened? It's like, welcome to the NFL. That's kind of how this thing works. So, I mean, he's obviously going to go through some bumps and bruises early, but he'll learn on the fly, and he's got a heck of an organization behind him, and one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
So, AQ, I guess take me through, because I know that when I bring this up, you're immediately, I mean, this is, you played the interior offensive line. Now, you were a center, and I think people would say center is more valuable. The only argument against that can be made is just the argument of it doesn't matter how good of a guard you are, that when you have the 14th pick, you've got to find a more premium position. What is your response to that argument that even if somebody's really good, you can't take a guard that high in the draft?
I'd argue and just simply say, listen, there was 9 offensive linemen taken, right? I mean, I think if you look at that alone, that tells you how important that position is, whether it's tackle, whether it's guard. And I was sitting with Coach Cower on the desk yesterday, and we were talking about all the good centers in this draft that aren't even getting mentioned in the first round. And it's like, hey, listen, like, these guys are quality players. Like, a center is super important. I mean, Coach Cower was talking to me about, the Dermontti Dawson and right into Jeff Hardings, and it's like, hey, listen, I'll take a smart center, a good center, somebody that I know is going to be in there for 10, 15 years, any day of the week, and it's just such an undervalued position. But the guard position is it's kind of that linchpin between center and tackle on both sides, right? So he's the one that's kind of your linchpin, basically, and he's the one that's kind of helping your center. He's helping your tackle, but he's also got all the one-on-one blocks too. So it's a super important position, and if you can find a good one, if you can find a road grader in the run game and who's also competent in the pass game, you got yourself a stud.
I think that's a very strong argument, AQ, and I there is a part of me that's like, well, I was enamored with Ruben Bain, but I just can't be down at all. How can you possibly be down on? You watch this guy play and say, yeah, this is a difference maker. AQ Shipley is with us here on GCR. AQ, you bring up center. It's interesting because we think the Ravens are probably still going to be in the center market. Right now, their incumbent would be someone who's never played an NFL snap in Corey Bullock. So I think that tonight they're likely to dip their toes back in to those waters and try to find a starting center. Is Ioane so good that he can help? If their starting center in week 1 is a third-round pick, that making that jump will be easier because they have Vega Ioane next to them.
Yeah, I think there's every time I played center and I had 2 really good guards next to me, my play elevated as well. If I had some guys who were backups in there, your play obviously starts to fall a little bit because you tend to lean to help those guys a little bit more. So if you got a guy that's a really good football player, he's super competent at the position, it's like, okay, you don't have to worry about him. It's like all those years with Marshall Yonda over there, you could just slide the line the other way. He's going to be one-on-one. He's going to win his matchup. It's a Hall of Fame type player. And, you can kind of just take care of the other side and let him win one-on-one every day or every play. And whenever you look at a guy like Vega, I think it's tough to kind of put that pressure or lean on him, early in his rookie season. But I do think there's some really good centers out there. I mean, there's the kid from Auburn. His name's Lou. He's coming off an injury, but God, he's really good. I love the kid. Logan Jones, another Iowa guy. You guys love Iowa guys at center over there. So I think I really like him, and I really like Slaughter out of Florida. If you can, and then there's the other Iowa kid that's probably going to end up playing center at the next level too. I think he was a guard at Iowa. I can't think of his name right now. But he's really good too. So there's 4 really good options that you could still grab at center, and they will be available in 2 through 4.
Is that Dunker that you're talking about? The Iowa guard?
No, Dunker's
he's more of a tackle, right? Is Stevens?
There it is. Bo
Stevens, yeah.
That's it.
And you think he's a center at the next level? I
think from everybody I've talked to, that seems to be the common consensus.
Is that the way that you're describing it? It's funny because you bring up Logan Jones. I think in part as much as we were talking about Vega Ioane as if he was already a Raven for the last few weeks, I feel like a lot of us have almost done the exact same thing with Logan Jones because of what you just said. Well, hell, the Ravens always take linemen from Iowa, and it always works out, right? Like, why not just make him the next one? Or is any of that group so significantly better that the Ravens are holding right now the 45th pick and the 80th pick tonight? Is any of that group one that you would say you need to do that at 45, or is that group so deep that you would say, yeah, the third round might be the sweet spot for you to grab a starting center?
I think one of those guys will be available. So
Okay.
It's just a matter of if you love a guy, you take him. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. I think so many people sit there and they say, okay, let's talk about, can we draft this guy at number 3 or can we draft this guy at number 42? Because we don't really have him there. But if you love the guy, go get him. Like who cares if you overpay by 6 picks or 10 picks, whatever it is, right? But if you love the guy and you get the guy that you want, I mean, you can't go wrong. And it just kind of all depends on where they have them slotted on the board. But if they're sitting there in the boardroom and Eric and the boys are sitting there and they're like, okay, well, we like Bo, we like Logan, and we like Slaughter from Florida, and it's like, okay, well, one of those 3 are going to be available in the third. Like then it's okay to just kind of sit around.
Is it imperative that the Ravens do draft a center, or AQ, are we at the point where like they've done enough because they drafted Ioane, they went out and got John Simpson, that maybe they could take a risk of an inexperienced, or maybe their backup plan B, hey, there's going to be somebody on the market maybe after June 1st. Like, do they need to draft a center tonight?
Yeah, I mean, that's always an interesting play. You can always grab a veteran guy late. There's no question about that. There's going to be somebody out there that's got starting experience or definitely game experience that will be available. That's probably in year 6 through 11, whatever that number looks like. You can always probably grab that guy at some point. But for me, man, I think center's such a valuable position. It's not so valuable in the draft for whatever reason amongst these scouts and GMs. I think a lot of them just look like, oh yeah, we can get them a little bit later, and that's fine. But once you have a good one on your team and it's solidified, as you guys saw with Linderbaum, it was phenomenal. And then you look at Creed Humphrey and you look at some of these guys that have been, stalwarts in their respective teams. I mean, it makes a massive difference when those guys are in.
Once upon a time, the Ravens waited till May and then traded a 7th round pick for a center, and it worked out. It worked out all right for him. Tell me how you feel about the completeness of this roster now, because clearly this interior line was the biggest need the Ravens faced coming into this weekend, and there's still a lot of things we need to learn about this team because it's a first-year head coach and it's a new offense. There's so many unknowns that we have. But when you just look at the Ravens in general, do you now again say, all right, they've addressed this? There's just not a whole lot of holes. If they have a healthy Lamar Jackson, they should be right back in the Super Bowl mix?
Well, I think it starts there, right? I think it always starts with when you got a Josh Allen, when you got a Lamar Jackson, when you got a Patrick Mahomes. I mean, that's almost good enough for 8 games. Now what's the rest of the roster do for you, right? I think that kind of is what it always comes down to. And at the end of the day, it still comes down to blocking and tackling, right? So you still need people to block up front. I'm always a believer. And, I mean, take a look at the Super Bowl. Like, it was pretty evident, hey, this team's got a better defensive line, this team's got a better offensive line, guess who's going to win the game? Pretty simple, right? You can make this game as complicated as you want, or you can make it as caveman and simple as you want and go back to see ball, get ball on defense, and it still comes down to blocking and tackling. And I'm a firm believer in that. I don't think the game's ever going to change from that. Will it evolve in terms of schematics and, some of the other things based on a cyclical nature of every 5 or 10 years, we want to maybe get some bigger defensive linemen. Then we'll go back to the speedier edge guys, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it still comes down to who's the best group up front. Can they protect for their guy? Can the guy get the ball downfield to his weapons? Can you run the football, and can you stop the run?
It's a very fair, and I think the Ravens have the ability to do most of those things. I think that's the reality, but we thought that a year ago, and that didn't end up being the case. I
think real quick, just on that. I mean, I think their offensive line took a step back last year, and for whatever reason that was, whether it was Voorhees and Faalele, whether it was some injury, whatever it may be, but they got to get, if they can get that solidified and let Lamar cook from the pocket and then give him the option then to run instead of having to run because he's under duress, I think that will make a massive difference in that team's success.
AQ Shipley, anybody else, any of the other offensive linemen last night that were drafted that you say, like, that dude, that's the guy. Like, that guy, who hit the biggest home run of maybe all the tackles that were taken last night?
So your former head coach, I thought, nailed his pick. I mean, I thought that was a great pick with Maui Noa. I thought he was the best lineman in the draft, honestly. I think, there's some medical concerns, whatever, but if you just take a look at his tape, He's big. He's physical. He's got great technique. Plays with a wide base. He's got all the stuff cooking. And he was coached by a really good offensive line coach, and then his head coach is an offensive line guy. So, like, he's got offensive line mentality through and through. And I love the kid Blake Miller. I love Blake Miller, the right tackle from Clemson. I really liked his film. 4-year starter, captain, played a lot of football, played good football. A lot of these other guys are like, hey, we're banking on the upside. And I'm not a big fan or big believer in the upside. I think you hit 50-50 on those guys. And so for me, like, you look at Proctor, you looked at the Steelers draft pick, you look at Freeling, you look at some of these guys. I think Freeling went to Carolina maybe. But if you look at some of those guys, it's like, okay, we're betting on the fact that these guys are 6'7", they're long, and they ran a 4.9 40, and we expect them to be really good. So it's a high ceiling, but where they are right now isn't necessarily where your guy is or where Maui Noah is.
What did you think of the Steelers taking Max Ahenekor? Should we be worried about that? Is it right for me to make fun of my Steelers friend and say, you drafted a basketball player? Or?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, he was a soccer and basketball player. Now, he's one of those guys where his tape, when he is on, and his good is really good, but he's raw. He's got a long way to go. He's only played 2 years of really football. I mean, he went to JUCO and he plays 2 years, and so you're sitting there and you're wondering, who's this guy going to be, right? And is he going to be the guy that, you know, they show the highlights on ESPN and like those 6 plays are awesome, or is he going to be the guy that gets beat on the inside move, gives up inside pressure, gets long arm, gets beat on the spin move outside, gets beat on a long arm, right? Like all those little things that when you watch Trent Williams, when you watch Darisaw, when you watch all these guys in the league who are stalwarts, Penny Sewell, right? Lane Johnson, Ronnie Stanley, any of these guys, right? Like the consistency is what matters. The consistency at the NFL level is more important than the highlights.
All right, you got to have a home game last night, right? Like going back to Pittsburgh
it was cool.
For that. And I have no doubt that was awesome for you, and I'm sure for Pat the same way. But like it's wild. I look at that event and say, and I covered a draft before, I can't imagine it. But then I see all of the people, and my God, man, like I start thinking, how electric would that be in our city? And I, unfortunately, because they're going to D.C. next year, that probably means they would want to wait a few years before they would come so geographically close. But can you describe what like that electricity is like, and especially in cities like Pittsburgh, like places that are not going to be Super Bowl cities geographically, like what a big deal it was in that city and how cool it might be if it ends up in Baltimore in the future?
Yeah, I think they picked some really good ones recently. I mean, you think about Green Bay, who's not going to host a Super Bowl, but, I mean, they are a football town. I mean, that's the only thing in that town, right? And if you can get those fans boozed up for a couple hours, I mean, it becomes a pretty electric atmosphere. And it was the same thing in Pittsburgh last night. I mean, that town is looking forward to that. I mean, they've revamped that city for this in particular. And whenever you sit there and you look at the way they set that up and the amount of people that showed up to that thing, I mean, the atmosphere was insane. And it started early. I mean, we showed up. Heck, we didn't go live until 8 o'clock. We were there at 4:30. And, I mean, there was a massive crowd, and that crowd was electric. They were in front of our set. They were in front of the game day set. They were in front of the main stage. I mean, it was awesome. And it was a really cool way that they set it up with the venue. And there was a parking garage right there, right off of Acrashore. And, I mean, the way the lights were, the music, I mean, it was awesome. If Baltimore can get that, it's the same type of atmosphere. I think they should continue to lean into the Baltimores, the Pittsburghs, the Green Bays, the New Englands, right? And turn those into massive draft nights, because you're going to get the true football fans. It's not just going to become about the event. It's going to become about everybody that city entails and what they're all about. And it's about having a good time, tailgating, and, you know, rooting on your team.
And you don't have to pay $1,000 for tickets, right? Like everybody gets to have a touch for an event like that, which is so cool. AQ, right. Appreciate you, brother. You're the best. Let's do it again real soon. Anything I can plug for you?
No, all the good stuff, man. I mean, same stuff. McAfee, I'm training guys. I'm trying to get some of your Baltimore guys. Any of your linemen want to come out and train with me? I got a good group now.
You know what? I there might be somebody I want to put you in touch with. You and I will have that conversation. All right.
Perfect.
All right, brother.
There you go.
Appreciate you, man.
Always.
AQ Shipley. I love that guy. And, yeah, I do. It's weird, right? Because it is past that time for me where I would have interest in going to a draft. But like it definitely be for you, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, you're still very much in that sweet spot where, and I get it. There's plenty of older adults that went to the draft, and a lot of people have told me that.
It was funny to see after the 21st pick was announced.
Yeah, I mean the crowd thins out, of course, right? And that's you think about that. Like if Washington has the 5th pick next year, I mean Washington's a more transient area, so there's probably more. There's definitely going to be more fans of other teams in Washington than there would be in Pittsburgh, right? So in Pittsburgh and Green Bay, it's that team, and someone would argue that you might want to wait until like the playoffs to decide who's going to host the draft the following year because of those reasons. I've also heard the argument that the real like event that I would knock it, but then like people that have gone would say you would want to go on Saturday and take your kids, and then your kids get to experience, and there's like this festival atmosphere, and it's free, and they get to feel like they're part of the draft, and it's not really about the announcing of names because at that point, you don't even know who these people are. But it's just about sort of experiencing the draft and being able to do it. I don't know. It's not for me, but it is something. The only time I've ever had an audience with the current NFL commissioner, like a real audience, like was able to ask questions, was before a preseason game. God, what year would this have been? Maybe 15 was the last time.
That's the last time you stepped foot at that. You said something to the commissioner, and they said you can't come around anymore.
You joke about that, but I was accused of dominating the time when I wasn't.
That
wasn't
checks out.
Even on the beat any longer. I'm like, well, you guys could just ask the questions. I had questions, and one of them was indeed that. It was, will it be that you set up a rotation of one group of Super Bowl cities and one group of NFL draft cities? Like, wouldn't that make the most sense for the NFL to say, hey, there's certain cities that we won't be taking the Super Bowl to, but geographically they have outdoor stadiums. It just doesn't make sense. But now we have the other thing that we can do to move it around. And he, hedged. Yeah, that makes some sense, and that might be something that we look into,
You can do better, Goodell. Come on.
I have no interest in doing it, Goodell. But yeah, I thought that was a relevant question, and Baltimore would seem to fit. I know Minnesota's back in play, and I think they want to get Buffalo because they've got a new stadium coming, and again, they're not going to be hosting a Super Bowl in Buffalo, so this is now how they get a showcase event for their stadium. But it would make a whole heck of a lot of sense for Baltimore to be on that list. And then everybody always asks, well, like, where? I mean, you would want it at the Harbor. You would want it to be, and it would be very difficult. It would choke traffic. It would be a huge problem, but you would want that visual of it being at the Harbor. I've heard an argument for do it at Fort McHenry. Like, that would be cool, but you need a lot of space. And that might be one of the problems with doing it at the Harbor,
yeah,
right?
I know.
Like, all the space that you need. And so that's why I feel like a lot of these just end up defaulting to the stadium itself.
Because there has to be that parking lot space.
Right? Like, that's where you need to have it. And then they actually, inside the stadium, I don't know if they show it, but they have, like, they have another giant tent complex inside the stadium on the field during the course of the draft. So, yeah, maybe that's where it is just outside the stadium. That's okay. Like, that's fine. I just think that it should come to Baltimore. All right, we'll come back in. We'll get a tidbit. We'll get tubular. We're going to wrap up today's show by chatting with a Baltimore native, or I guess a Hartford County native, Sidney Stewart, as Maryland football is having their spring showcase tomorrow. We'll talk about that with him. That's all on the way. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bill Ordine dives in on how different Preakness will be temporarily at Laurel Park and then long-term once it returns to Pimlico. Also inside, Luke Jackson learns more about what Trey Hendrickson will bring to the Ravens. And Karuga Koinange looks at how Samuel Basayo is influencing the Orioles' international signing efforts. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR. Trying to think about anything else from last night that we needed to cover. The Bengals were getting froggy because they didn't have a pick. There was like fans posting, "Can't help but notice all the other AFC North teams are taking offensive linemen. They must be scared of something." And like they were.
Oh, the Bengals were trying to egg
the Bengals were like
oh.
replying and like trying to get. They were trying to get more engagement from it because they had no actual way to get engagement. Like, don't get me wrong, Dexter Lawrence is a hell of a football player. Like, there's no doubt. The Ravens didn't draft Vega Ioane because Dexter Lawrence.
They might have
became a Bengal. That's not the reason.
Maybe it was Ruben Bain, and then
right
a week
as soon
ago,
as the Bengals got Lawrence, they said,
like,
"Well, we got no choice now. We got to go get Ioane." That's not it. But yeah, sure, maybe let him believe that. Is there anything else in last? Obviously,
the Mekhi Lemon,
Lemon stuff, right? Yeah. I mean, wild, right? Like wild. It also, in a way, kind of surprises you that this type of stuff doesn't happen more frequently. I don't know if that's just unique to them moving to 8 minutes this year. If you haven't seen it, that was it. Above it.
Did you want the? Oh, yeah. I guess I should just do that.
Yeah. Oh, you want the one from the Eagles like war room? That's what you wanted to share?
I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll just do the first one. Yeah.
This is the one of him actually being on the phone with the Steelers as they're informing him. By the way, how awkward is it for the Steelers to have to go out and talk about how much they love their draft pick, right? Like how difficult. I always have fun with this. I believe it's Max Ahonachor is how it's pronounced. But I always I love it that every year, every team, it's amazing, got exactly the guy they wanted. It's incredible how that works out.
Did.
Right, just amazing how that is. But you got to feel for the Steelers who have to go out and lie about how much they love Max Ahonachor. Like when we all know that's not who they wanted, but they can't say it that way. They can't say like, well, he was definitely our number 2 pick. Like they have to pretend like we didn't all see this. This was from. Was this ESPN? I think this was.
Good Morning Football had this.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Good Morning NFL Network.
Here's what it looked like from the players' point of view before we discuss.
Let's go! Philly color. Yeah.
Oh, Philly just traded for you.
Hello?
This is Philly. They just traded for you. Philly's taking you right now.
Here's what it
Yeah,
looked
that's
like.
wild, right? Like, it's wild. And I don't know if that's just unique to the 8-minute format this year that, like, something like that, the teams were trying to get a step ahead in calling, but definitely the NFL, this is bad for the Steelers and undoubtedly something they're going to address with the league. And while, again, it's easy for us to say, ha-ha, F you, like, this could have happened to the Ravens. And if it had, it would have been really bad for the Ravens to be on the phone with Vega Ioane only to find out that the Rams realized they could get Ty Simpson 15 picks later, and so they traded out of the pick, and whoever it was jumping up to take Ioane. It's a bad look. And so, yes, ha-ha, joke's on you, losers. But at the same time, the NFL is going to have to figure that out. For viewing reasons, for all of us that were working last night, I did think that the 8-minute thing was great, right? Like, other than that awkward moment where they were doing all the Steelers stuff between the clock, the awkwardness, and then the production, right? Like, between all of that, then the draft hit a snag. But outside of that, I thought it moved along at a splendid pace. And the 8-minute thing, much like the pitch clock in baseball, you can be annoyed by it, but it was definitely good for television. There's no doubt about that. And there still ended up being a boatload of trades. It's not like all of a sudden there were no trades because there was an 8-minute clock. It's what it is. It's what it is. That happens. It sucks. The league has to figure out a way. What do we do? Is there an open line that, okay, this pick is finalized, now you can make your phone call to the guy that you're picking? Like, is that something that they do moving forward? Because there is no way that the Steelers should have been able to be on the phone with someone if there was any doubt about what the pick was ahead of that. There's just no way that should happen. There's too many cameras. That footage, all of these teams care deeply about.
Yeah, but good thing it happened.
The optics.
To the Steelers.
Yes, if there was a team that it would happen to, God bless them that it happened to the Steelers. And God, I've not gone to look, but there's got to be video of Omar Khan being like, this is the guy we really wanted all along. Like, there's just that video has to exist from last night of something that he said that, knowing what we know, just is absolute insanity. So yeah, biggest winner of the draft,
Ravens, obviously, and then
I mean everybody's high.
I really like Caleb Downs.
Yeah, Caleb Downs
like
Dallas is really good. There's no doubt. Everybody's high on what the Giants did. There's no way around that. Like they seem to get the guy that a lot of people thought was the number 2 overall prospect in the draft at number 5, and then the guy that a lot of people believed was the best tackle in the draft at number 10. Like, that's a really good haul. They also have 1,000 edge rushers. Like, my God. What do they do with all of these players? They could not have more of them. So they'll got to figure that out. And they're saying that they're not looking to trade Kayvon Thibodeau, but I don't know how you don't. I don't know how that's not in the cards.
Well, I mean, yeah, you see Malik. I don't know where Malik Neighbors was, but he was doing some live show too. And,
okay.
And he was like, he kind of had the same question. She was like, what? We
It's
have
a
this
lot.
guy. Like, we
It's
have
a
this guy. I
lot.
thought. Like, why do we?
A lot of them. And I think this guy's particularly good.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think that he's the guy you want.
too.
But, yeah, they got a lot of edge rushers. And then, look, I assume that the Jets are going to screw it up, but I can't lie. I like what the Jets did, just players-wise. The problem is I don't think you can win with it because you still I know everybody wants to tell me that Geno Smith was better 2 years ago than anybody realizes he was. I think there's going to be a limit to what you can do. But I like Sadiq. I really like Omar Cooper a lot. And there was a lot of heat about him moving up in the draft, and then as it turns out, he did end up falling all the way to the back end of the draft. So turns out could have had him. A lot of teams could have had him. They didn't, but I like Omar Cooper a lot. I think it would, if they had a quarterback, it would have been a good night for the Jets, but they don't have a quarterback, and you always assume that they're going to screw up everything that they do because that's what the Jets do. I mean, obviously David Bailey is outstanding, but that's what it is. Tonight, obviously, rounds 2 and 3. I was just looking at Matt Miller did a overnight mock draft for tonight.
I want to see the 2027 mock draft. That's what I
Has the Ravens taking Avion Terrell, what is he, brother or cousin of A.J. Terrell?
I think he is brother.
Brother, I think you're right. The cornerback from Clemson at 45. The couple of players right behind him, he has Jacob Rodriguez, the linebacker from Texas Tech, at 46. C.J. Allen, the linebacker from Georgia, at 47. The couple of picks before him, Jeremy Bernard, the wide receiver from Alabama, he has at 43, and Brandon Sissy, the cornerback from South Carolina, at 44. And I think he did a third round as well. He has the Ravens taking Max Clare, the tight end from Ohio State, with the 80th pick. So he does not have the Ravens getting a center tonight. What?
That's who I have.
Who do you have?
I got Max Clare.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'm in good shape.
Yeah, you're up 1-0.
Tim, I like flats. That's what I like for my Orange Crush wings.
You could still end up having Malort wings because everybody else could still end up getting 2.
Yeah, but you guys are all
lots
you
of
guys,
picks
hold
still
on,
on the
KZ,
table.
I'll look over really quick. He's at 0.
Or it could very well be that only one person gets 2 and 3 of us get 1.
Drew's
right,
at 0.
I understand. Yes, right now
Glenn,
after one pick,
scanning. Wait,
you have
wait a
the
minute.
lead.
Yeah, no, you're at 0.
Now Drew, actually, for what it's worth, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Drew maybe did the smart thing and really did not take any first rounders.
Yeah.
Kind of said, man, you got Ioane. That's it.
I took a lot of first rounders. I had 4 first rounders.
I think I had 2.
KZ had 2. You had 2. Drew had 1. Yeah.
Who was his first rounder?
He took Caden Proctor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. That was the only one.
All right. Well, very good. We'll continue to
Drew
monitor
still got
that.
19 alive.
And the two of KZ and I both have 18, and
yes, and then
you
I
have 1 in the bank, but only
15 left.
Yeah, right.
Only 15. Yeah, but these are all guys that I know that they're
that's a great
gonna
point,
take.
Right? It's a great.
I might get 15 right.
Wouldn't help you. Wouldn't help you in any way. All right, let's get a tidbit. Tidbit is brought. I should have mentioned. Yes, Dean Kramer to the injured list. Brandon Young pitches tonight. I don't think that's them choosing Brandon Young over Cade Povich. I think that's just Cade Povich pitched 4 days ago, so Brandon Young is the guy to go for tonight. And we'll see what the decision is moving forward. I don't know, man. It's disappointing at the same time. This is still April Dean Kramer that we're talking about. Maybe it's just as well that it's Brandon Young. As long as it's always a difficulty. When somebody goes on the 10-day injured list, you always have this feeling of, okay, but what is it really? What's the actual problem? I know what you're telling me, but
what did they list it as? It was his foot?
Yeah, hang on a second. Right quad strain.
Oh, quad. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
I hope he's okay. Yeah.
Yes, that doesn't seem like he's on the 10-day IL with some elbow soreness, where you're just like, oh, for God's sakes, just tell us that he's out for the season already.
Shoot him in the head.
Take him out back. Old Yeller style. That does seem like a more legitimate short-term injury that he could be back soon, but still, it's April Dean Kramer. Maybe it's for the best that they just go ahead and wait until May, and we'll go from there. All right, what you got for Tidbit?
Ohio State.
Yeah, Tidbit is brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is available at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores for free. You can also read it for free at PressBoxOnline.com. Bill Ordean's cover story about the future of the Preakness, and a lot more inside that print issue of Press Box.
Ohio State is the first school to have any position, selected in the first round 5 consecutive drafts.
Which receiver?
Yes,
receiver.
Mm-hmm. Who you want to try to name them all? I mean, I guess it should be pretty obvious, fairly obvious.
Tate
this year, of course. I guess that was a shocker. That was a little surprising. No one saw Tate going 4th overall.
I mean, really?
I mean, no one had I kind of predicted that. I guess it happens, and it's okay, yeah, nice pick. From Tennessee. He's a great player.
I thought that was about right, honestly.
Yeah, but everyone thought Saleh wanted defense. It was going to go Styles or Reese or whatever.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think Carnell Tate is that good.
I mean, I think I kind of agree, but
So yeah, Tate, Olave, Marvin Harrison. Oh God, who am I forgetting about? Oh, I shut up. Oh God. Why am I?
25. So
Shut
last year-
up!
Okay, sorry.
Shut up! Just making it more difficult for me. Last year was. Oh, Abuka.
Yes.
Abuka.
Emeka Abuka went 19th overall last year. Marvin Harrison, you said, went 4th overall 2 years ago. Tate 4th last night. Olave was one of 2 Ohio State
There's
first-round
Garrett
receivers.
Wilson.
Yes,
the
Garrett
same
Wilson
year,
in 22.
And so that leaves 23. Oh, God. Oh, JSN.
Yep, newly
JSN.
crowned Super Bowl champion, JSN, and
Yep.
Jeremiah Smith seems to be, right in the
Seems
top
like
of the
a
top of the
strong likelihood.
top of the prospects next year. Ohio State first school with 4 players selected in the top 12 picks since in a single draft. Top 12 in a single draft since
Alabama.
1967.
Oh, yeah.
Michigan State.
Oh, of course. Was Bubba Smith one of them?
Yep, Bubba Smith was first overall. Clint Jones was second overall. The other 2?
Yeah, sure.
George Webster was 5th overall,
okay.
and Gene Washington.
All right.
So they had actually
All right.
4 guys in the top 8. Michigan State did.
Okay.
Washington went 8th overall. First team to have 2 running backs in the same first school, and to have each of the first 2 running backs selected in the same draft. So they had the first 2 running backs from the same school. Of course, Notre Dame with Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. Casey Concepcion, only the second ever Texas A&M wide receiver drafted in the first round.
Mike Evans.
Yep, Mike Evans in 2014. And the Jets could become the first team to have 3 first-round picks in back-to-back drafts. They had 3 firsts last night, obviously, and they are due to have 3 firsts next year as well. Their pick,
The
Sauce
Colts,
Gardner, and the Quentin Williams trade as well with Dallas. So if they stand pat, they could have 3 in back-to-back years, and then it's gonna be like, how do you keep screwing this up, Jets?
That's the question.
Mansour Delane became the 6th top 10 corner of the last 10 years to be picked.
Really, only the 6th?
Yeah, top 10 in the top 10. So,
all right. Well, Sauce Gardner.
Yes, Sauce Gardner in 2022.
Does this go back to oh God, why am I blank? Stingley.
Yes, Stingley and Sauce were the same year.
Same year. That's
Yeah.
right. Jesus. Why do those 2 come off really quickly for me, and then all of a sudden I can't think of anybody else? How about? I'm trying to think of even who was last year.
There were no top 10 corners last year.
Okay, then I won't think about who was last year. That might be part of why I'm struggling here. Damn. I really am struggling all of a sudden. So I guess you got to go back further than
the years.
Yeah.
2023, there was a top 10 corner.
2023, there was a top 10 corner. 2023. I don't.
Out of Big Ten school, went 5th overall.
Big Ten school. It's not. This is not racking.
Yeah, he
nothing.
just won the Super Bowl with the Seahawks.
Oh, Witherspoon.
Yes. Stephon Witherspoon was a top 5 corner.
God, I forgot that he was. I really did, man.
You got Stingley and Gardner in 2020 and 2018. Each had a top 10 corner as well.
It wasn't Terrell, was it?
No, he fell. Was he like 20-ish?
Would that have been Henderson then?
No.
God. Oh, who
Were
was
they
the
both
guy?
Ohio State guys? No.
Who was the guy out of Ohio State that sucked? That was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had fun. Udoka or something like
Basically,
that.
Okuda.
Yeah. Okuda. Thank you. He was terrible.
He was. He was not good. He went to the Detroit Lions, and then another. The 2018 was. He was also. I think he was Ohio State. Right?
2018 Ohio State.
Yes, Ohio State.
Dude, you're asking for a lot here, man. I mean, I can't.
Still with the same team.
Still with the same. Good.
Sucky team.
Still with the same sucky team. Sucky.
Ohio native, went to Ohio State, stayed in Ohio.
Denzel Ward.
Denzel Ward. Good player, not a good team.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah,
good
you're
team.
right.
Denzel Ward.
You're right.
Yeah. And then an easy one to close it out. Sixth first round offensive lineman in Ravens history.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Stanley.
Yes.
Actually, it's funny. Eric forgot one last night.
Oh, he was rattling.
He forgot Michael Orr when he was rattling him off. He forgot it. Orr, Grubbs. Oh God.
Yeah, who are you gonna forget?
Yeah, who am I gonna forget? Oh, Linderbaum. Yes.
Yep.
Ogden.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Very
Vega
good.
the 6th.
Very good. All right. Let's get tubular, shall we?
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, here's what's coming up this weekend, totally tubular-wise. Of course, the NFL Draft does continue tonight. Rounds 2 and 3 starting at 7 o'clock on ABC, ESPN, and NFL Network. Tomorrow for rounds 4 through 7, same network starting at noon. I'll be on WBAL tomorrow morning from 7 to 10, and 9 to 10 we'll be talking Ravens and reacting to day 2 and setting up day 3 of the NFL Draft. Appreciate everybody who came and said hello last night. Great to see our buddy Rashawn, Shag and Flash and their whole crew, Uncle Grandpa, maybe the most talented guys in the city. Great to see those guys. Good to bump into Jamal Lewis. Appreciate him spending time. And Teddy Buchanan came over and spent some time with us as well, which was nice. Had a great time. Thanks to everybody who came and said hello. Red Sox Orioles this weekend. Tonight, 7:05. Brian Bayo. Is it? It's Bayo, right?
Yeah, Bayo.
And it's Brian, not Brian, right?
That
I know
one
it's
I'm not
spelled
sure.
Brian.
I always thought it was Brian, but I guess maybe it is Brian. It's spelled. Yeah, you're right. It is spelled Brian, but it's Bayo. I know it's Bayo. That one I'm confident in.
It is Brian.
By the way, it's Bubich.
Thank you. Really dynamite stuff. Let me know afterwards when I had watched the game, too. Really appreciate that.
Well, I know you were wondering.
Yeah, Brian Bayo goes to the Red Sox tonight against Brandon Young. Tomorrow, Garrett Crochet and Trevor Rogers at 4:05. And Sunday, Connolly Early and Kyle Bradish on at 1:35. That's also on MLB Network in the rest of the country. You can watch it there. Tonight, Loyola and Navy lacrosse, 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. UMBC's playing Bucknell at Messiah University. They always do something weird like that. You can't watch it. They wrap up the regular season with a non-conference game. I don't know.
Wait, who's playing Bucknell?
UMBC's playing Bucknell at Messiah. They've done it. The game, something like this for a lot of years.
Like a meaty. It's like always at like some random.
Yeah,
location.
like D3, like somewhere where you can't watch the game or you don't know how to watch the game. Maybe that school puts it up on their website, but they don't tell anybody that they're doing it. I don't know. No idea. The Big Ten Women's Lacrosse Tournament, they had to shift time, so actually that game's going on right now. I don't know what's going on with Maryland and Johns Hopkins. That's happening literally in this moment because they had to move everything up. And I know there's a lot of rain expected this weekend, so a lot of other games. War on the Shore tonight, Salisbury hosting Washington College at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow, the Big Ten men's tournament gets underway. Rutgers and Maryland at 6 on BTN+. Towson wraps up the regular season by hosting Hofstra at noon on Monumental. Stevenson, speaking of non-conference, they're at Ohio Wesleyan at 1 o'clock. That's, of course, the
Ohio Wesleyan. That is it something weird? Is it Flash?
It is kind of weird. It's kind of weird. It's the Battling Bishops of Ohio Wesleyan. The Battling Bishops of OWU. On Sunday, the Big Ten Women's Championship is
Maryland. The Maryland women are up 10-5 at halftime.
Okay, so it looks like they'll be in. I don't even know who won the first game. I assume Northwestern. I assume Northwestern did. So it looks like it'll be Maryland or Northwestern again in the championship. Although who knows? And then the Loyola women begin the Patriot League tournament on Sunday at noon against
Northwestern women won by 1.
Wow.
April 9th.
What's that?
Back on April 9th, they won by 1. Yeah.
Yeah, when they played Maryland.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
I was talking about earlier today. Who won the other Big Ten women's semifinal was the question. Because I think they moved both of them up because of the weather.
I see what you're saying. Though.
Yes. Glad we were together on that. The Maryland Northwestern women's game was awesome. Maryland was down by like 3 in the fourth quarter. Looked like Northwestern was going to run away. Maryland actually had a chance later. It was a heck of a game. But okay, dynamite.
I'm working on it.
I'll just wait. Just sit here. Lots of playoffs this weekend. I'm not going to run through all of it.
Yeah, NU won 10-7.
Okay, that's what I expected. So it'll be presumably Maryland against Northwestern on Sunday. Non-sports.
I think there's a couple. Let's see here. We got Marty Supreme is streaming on HBO Max now.
Okay.
So if you can check that out. Nikki Glazer's got a new special on Hulu.
I actually watched a little bit of that while I was on the elliptical this morning.
Oh, okay.
It's very Nikki Glazer. I've heard some of these jokes before, so then I was like, is this really a new special? Or, like, I've definitely heard some of the jokes before.
Those are the big ones.
All right.
Euphoria,
That's
Rooster.
That's not great. It's not great.
Euphoria Sunday night, Rooster follows that. John Oliver. Yeah.
All right. Very good. Thanks today to AQ Shipley. Thanks also to Michael Pierce. And thanks to Sidney Stewart, who you're about to hear from. We'll get it all up in the greatest hits section of the
Celebrity Jeopardy Sunday night. Going to be Mina Kimes and Andy Richter on there.
Huge. Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. No, obviously, we'll be back on Monday. Stuff and Things.
Yeah.
The Bat Around on Sunday with Paul and Zach. Make sure you're checking that out as well. Thanks to everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including the Baltimore Orioles, Costas Inn, Baltimore area highest dairy stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warnken Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com. I'll see you tonight at Project Runway at CFG Bank Arena. Looking forward to that. Have a great weekend. Go Birds. Go all the local lacrosse teams. Duke sucks. We wrap up today's show by catching up. What?
Stavi had to cancel his show this weekend.
Oh, that's right. That is a bummer. Yeah. What, he had a scooter
He's so
accident
fat.
or something like that? Jesus.
His words.
Jesus. Did I say?
he did. He broke his arm.
Did I say he's at Griffin_Bass? Did I do that bit? Did I say at Glenn Clark Radio for us? Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Do that. Yeah. Have a great weekend. Go Birds. Go the local teams. Duke sucks. We wrap up today's show chatting with Sidney Stewart from Maryland football.
The Maryland Football Spring Showcase coming up tomorrow in College Park. Very cool event. Not just an opportunity to watch the team practice, but you can meet the team. And that includes our next guest, one of our favorites, the pride of Concordia Prep right here in Baltimore. And man, who had an awesome first season in College Park with 7 sacks. He's Sidney Stewart, and he's back with us now here on GCR. Sid, it's Glenn. It's great to see you, man. Thank you for taking the time.
Great to see you, too. Of course, of course.
Man, your season, personally, I know you wanted there to be more wins, right? But, like, it's not easy for freshmen to make this type of impact at the level that you were doing it. What was the difference for you? What allowed for you to be able to make the adjustment so quick to going up against the biggest, the best dudes in the country and find the success that you found?
I think the biggest thing was, I think, my supporting cast coming out of high school, like my trainer, like Coach Dan, my coaches, like, getting me mentally ready. I think that was probably the biggest thing that helped me, like, as far as my own individual. But I think also, like, my coaches trusting me at Maryland itself, like Coach Monachino and Coach Locks, trusting in me to play, trusting in my ability and my, to get on the field, your coach has to trust you, especially at this level. Like, coach has to trust that you'll do the right thing at the right time and, be where you're supposed to be. So I appreciate them for that. And, I think those combining factors is what allowed me to play early. So
you bring that up, right? Like, how much does it make a difference that you're going to be able to have another year with Coach Monachino, right? Like, it's so often in college football in particular, there's turnover, right? With coordinators, given what you did, what Zahir did a year ago, now, how big do you think it is that if this is the foundation and now we get another year with Coach Monachino, I would imagine the thought is it can only be so much better from there.
Yeah, I think, just like with anything else, the more you do it, the more you practice at it, the better you get. So I think, the more understanding and practice I had under this playbook and stuff, I think it just allows me to, maybe take some of my own thoughts into the play instead of just, maybe being more robotic and stuff. I had just more understanding of what is ahead of me and what to expect from teams I'm playing against. So it's a lot easier to get settled in and, start to, just play how I want to play a lot sooner. So, and then obviously I think I developed, like, physically too, like, getting faster, stronger and stuff.
Sure.
So I just think, with experience comes better play, and with time, you develop. So
tell me about Randy Starks coming into the equation, because, bro, that guy is a friggin' legend, man. Like, he is a rock star from when he was a player. I don't know how much you're at an age that, I guess you never saw him play.
Yeah.
But like, what do you know about him, and what kind of addition has he been to the defensive staff?
So me personally, I don't really work much with him as an outside linebacker and stuff, but I
Yeah.
think for the D line to have somebody that played and actually can understand the things they're doing in practice and how they feel as a player, I think something like that just only adds fuel to the fire and stuff. I think seeing Coach Stark's career and stuff, like you said, I was young, so I didn't maybe see it myself, but having somebody to look up to, like that's the type of legacy I want to leave at Maryland too. So
Cool.
I just think it's inspiring, and it's cool to have him on the staff for sure.
All right, let's get to the important part, right, Sidney? Because we know what era of football we're in.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of dudes that had the freshman season that you had, who I have no doubt had offers from a lot of places to
yeah,
go somewhere else, would have said, "Hey, all right, man, I'm gonna take that big time money. I'm gonna get out of here, right? Like,
yeah, yeah.
why was it different for you? And I'm sure that like it's a similar conversation that if I had with Zahir right now. Why did you guys say, despite the struggles, despite the way the season went after the first 4 games last year, why did you guys decide to stick around and say, I want to ride this thing out and
Yeah.
see what I can't do?
So I think well, one, I'm from here, so I just got a little bit of different ties to here and stuff. So a lot of my friends, my family, people able to come to the game for me. So that's a big piece. And I think seeing what we had from the team and what we were able to retain and stuff, I think the talent question is, it really isn't a question. Like we have the talent capable of winning games and stuff. So to be able to play with those guys, obviously they're my friends, my brothers and stuff. So to have them on my team and to know that they'll make their own plays and send plays my way is just it definitely had a big piece in me wanting to stay. And I think probably the last piece that ties it all together is my coaches. I think um, a lot of people, you know, they forget the ultimate goal, at least for somebody like myself. Like I want to play in the NFL.
Yep.
So I mean, and I'm a competitor. Obviously, I want to win games, and that's something I want to do for the program and for myself too. But I think with this type of staff and playing under Coach Monachino, I think I'm going to be all the more ready to play in the NFL. So all those things probably is what I would say led me to stay.
It's cool, man. What about no? Last time I talked to Zion, he told me that like you guys are basically neighbors, right? Like,
Yeah,
can you tell me about that relationship and like what it now means that you guys gonna be lining up together? And I remember you and I talked about it in the fall. Like, my
yeah,
God, this thought of the three of you all out on the field together,
yeah,
it sounds like it's gonna be a nightmare for
yeah.
opposing offenses.
I think, well, yeah, we actually are pretty much neighbors. He lives right down the block from me. So we both live in Joppa. Shout out mom. Shout out his mom. But I think, just our outside linebacker room is probably one of the youngest. And then not just that, but one of the most talented in the nation. You know what I'm saying? So I think adding him and, we got Didi, we got WAP, and I think Me's out here, Zion. I think just having a rotation of guys that, when we're not tired, I just think that it's going to be a lot to deal with for offenses. So I just think adding him, obviously he's a very talented player, one of the best in the country, if not the best in the country coming in. So yeah, I think it should be a scary sight for sure.
Man, you bring up Joppa, right? Like it just sort of like it's crazy to me. I know obviously Deontay was Edgewood, right? Like right there.
Yeah,
But this opportunity that you guys have to do this together, and again, both of you guys being guys that are very much in line to end up in the NFL at some point. Like, what does that mean to you that you get to represent that community together, do it this way? Like, that's got to be something pretty powerful to you.
yeah. I think being from Joppa, that sometimes it doesn't seem like there's a lot of stuff going on there. And so the people from there, when they get something to
I mean,
champion
I love the
and
fried
root
chicken
for.
at Redner's for what it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, but so yeah, I think when they get something to champion and something to root for, I think it's just it's just like a strong bond. So being the person that maybe people can, look to or, just cheer on, I think it's just a great feeling.
I mean, I think it's awesome. I think it's a really cool story and can't wait to see it unfold for you guys this year. Um, we mentioned the disappointment of last year, right?
Mhm.
Like, as we're chatting with Sidney Stewart, the Maryland football spring showcase coming up tomorrow. I, it wasn't like you guys were getting blown out.
Yeah.
It was heartbreak. How have you used that? Like, do you come away from that feeling like I know we're close it's not as bad as maybe some people think it was from the outside if
Mm.
they just looked at the record or the streak, whatever you want to say. And what is the difference between being a team that's right there in Big Ten games against good teams and being a team that's ready to go win those games this season and compete in the Big Ten?
Right. I would say, I would say, you are who your record says, regardless of how much you try to fight it. We were a losing team last year, and we had plenty of opportunities to win games, not just in the fourth quarter, but throughout the entire game. There was a lot of misplays, offensively and defensively, even on special teams and stuff. So, I think, it's bittersweet because, like you said, we weren't getting blown out, but a loss is a loss. And at the end of the day, whether it be by 3 or by 30, we lost, and it goes on the wrong side of our scoreboard. So I just think for us though, the silver lining is that we were one step away or maybe one play away, and so talent. But it shows that talent isn't enough, and that I think once us as a young team, we take the experience of last year and just add it on to our talent. I think a great season is ahead.
I think it's been really cool to see you guys out supporting some of the other spring sport teams this year, right? Like, was this like a formal thing that you guys got together, said, let's go to some lacrosse games, let's go to baseball games? Was it just, hey, some of these guys want to do it anyway? Like, what has this been like, and how much have you felt like there's been, a vibe and appreciation from you guys showing up to support those guys, and I'm sure there's a feeling that's reciprocal.
Yeah, I mean, being as we're one of if not the top NIL sport, and we don't really share a facility with really any other sport. I think sometimes there's a disconnect there, and they maybe don't understand that we appreciate what they do, and we think what they do is really cool, and we respect their sport and stuff. So I think we just as a team banded together and said that we got a cool opportunity to go support. And I mean, more than just that, I mean, so it was just fun watching some of the teams play and stuff. You get to be a little rowdy, see what it's like to be a fan and stuff. So yeah, I just think it was, really cool that we was able to do that.
I,
I'm
mean,
glad
I
that.
noticed the rowdiness, right? Like,
Yeah,
I noticed a good bit of that, particularly at lacrosse a couple games ago, right? Like, is
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
like is this like a good way for you to let some of that out? Like, normally, you got to be buttoned up a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
this is an opportunity for you to do that a little bit more.
yeah, 100%. And I think it's just cool that we kind of got to get a little chirpy. Sometimes a lot of it feels like you can almost do nothing, because it's a lot of eyes on you and stuff. But it was a cool opportunity to talk a little trash and stuff.
I love that, man. I love that. I don't know if we talked about this the last time. Are you a trash talker on the field?
I'm like I wouldn't say I'm a trash talker. I'm more like like I joke and I laugh and stuff. But I think because like it may come off that way to certain people, which I don't think necessarily is like by accident. But sometimes I'd be too tired to talk though. So it just depends.
It's a grueling game. I can
Yeah,
understand that. When you played basketball, right? Like, of course, everybody knows your family's history with basketball. When you played
right.
basketball, were you a trash talker? I feel like basketball is normally more of the trash talking sport than football is. Am I wrong about that?
No, I think it may seem that way because there's 11 people on the field and you can't really hear what's going on the football field and stuff. But I think they're probably about the same. Basketball it
Okay.
just is a little bit worse because you're one on one, and if you beat the dude one on one, then everybody kind of sees it. So, but yeah, basketball. I definitely do talk trash. I think I got that from my dad and my brother and stuff, and that's just kind of brings out the competitor in you. I think it's more fun that way.
I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree at all. In fact, I kind of love. Are you a prepared trash talker? Like, do you like know something about that guy, or is it just maybe like if they say something, maybe you'll say something back type of situation?
Yeah, no, I'm not really prepared. I think once my play starts getting to go, then I think I just start talking a little bit.
All right, I can appreciate that. I dig that a whole lot. Spring showcase tomorrow, right? Like, it's not what the old spring game was, but it's still an opportunity to go out in front of a crowd. I know it's been a long few weeks, and this is
Mm.
always the toughest, right? Because you don't have a game to get ready for, right? Like,
Yeah,
you're just doing it to do it. But
right.
what does it mean to get that opportunity after you've been grinding to go out there tomorrow and to have fans show up and say hello?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times you're practicing kind of feels like you're moving in secrecy. You know, the coaches are trying to figure out the new puzzle pieces and stuff. So we're not trying to leave it up for interpretation for other people and stuff. So they don't get an opportunity to see what's going on. But I know people are on the edge of the seat ready for football to start back up to America's sport and stuff. So they get an opportunity to see what, their hometown team or their college's team kind of has to bring for the next season. And, at this point, college football is taking a turn. We as players are kind of more in the NFL trajectory, like, we're valuable and, you can't really lose one of your more valuable players or any of them for that fact. But it's still an opportunity for people to see what we got to offer. So I think
how tough
cool.
is what you just brought up, right? Like, do you have to remind yourself, like, bro, because all you do is bring quarterbacks to the ground. Like, that's your life.
Yeah.
Do you have to remind yourself? I don't know if you go in ones at all, but like you have to say, like, bro, stay away from Malik. Like, stay away.
Oh yeah. No. They'll make sure you know. Like
Okay.
I'm sure every collegiate program around the nation, you're not gonna get within an inch of the quarterback before you
That's the way it's got to be, man.
Yeah,
that's the way it's
100%.
got to be. This is obviously NFL draft week, Sid, right? Like, have you started to think about like what this is gonna be you in whenever that time is, whenever you make that decision that it's time for you? Have you like started to have any of those feelings of like what it's gonna be like watching with your family and like does that? I see a little bit of a smile on your face as I bring it up. Like, do you think about that at all?
I mean, I think it's hard not to. Like I said, that's kind of my ultimate goal with this football stuff. And I think I got a great opportunity because of not just what I've done, but because of the people who's helped me and stuff. So I think I'd be kind of wrong to not take advantage of the opportunity if it shows itself. And but to be honest, this stuff can go away in an instant. So I'm not trying to jump the gun. I'm not eligible, so I'm just trying to do better than what I did last year and then do that again one more time. So. Yeah, but I definitely think there's a possibility for the NFL in my future.
I appreciate that focus, man. I appreciate it. Maryland Football Spring Showcase, again, coming up tomorrow. Jones Hill House opens at 10 a.m. The practice itself is at 1 o'clock, and then Jones Hill House will be open again from 2:30 to 4. So an awesome day. Meet Sidney Stewart, meet Zahir, meet Zion Ely, meet Malik, the whole gang. And great interactive activities during the course of the event as well. It's going to be an awesome day. Sidney, remind me where can Maryland fans be giving you a follow on social?
I kind of got a little nickname on Instagram. You can follow me at Young Bull Sid.
That's
spelled
right.
a little funky, YUNG. But yeah, I go by Young Bull. So you probably can find me on other stuff with pretty much the same name.
Very good, man. Sid, you're our guy. We are always rooting for you, and it's awesome to see the success you found. We can't wait to see what's next for you this season. Appreciate you taking the time for us as always, man.
For sure. I appreciate you.